Happy Tuesday. That was a little creepy, but I'm gonna keep it in there anyway, just because it's different. I'm tired of saying, "Hey guys, it's Tuesday," but it is Tuesday. I hope everyone is doing well today, and that you guys are ready to take on another day of remote learning that involves a live lesson in Google Meetings with me today at 1:30. So again, 1:30. Yesterday we had about 7 or 8 people in there. And we did talk a little bit about what the writing you guys have been doing. And for those of you who were there, I hope it was good. We did establish some rules, and so I'll review those today when we actually have our lesson later on. But for now, we have to worry about today's Module 3, Lesson 14, Part 1 lesson for Colonial Voices, okay? And in case you can't see by the big, beautiful bubble letters that are this way behind me, we're talking about theme today. And theme is something we have talked about multiple times this year. But it's always good to have a refresher because with different kinds of texts, themes come out in different ways. And there's sometimes more than one theme, which happens to be the case with Colonial Voices, okay? So we're back to our focus question, is how do different people's experiences affect their perspectives of the American Revolution. And we also have our content framing question, which is basically what are the themes in Colonial Voices, okay? Now, for those of you who are like, oh my god, theme is main idea. Theme is not main idea, okay? That's the number one thing. I said that multiple times this year, and I keep saying multiple times and stressing it because this is one of those things where if we had stayed in school leading up to the ELA test, we would have done this a lot more than we had already done it. But theme is not main idea, okay? Theme is the main message. So the word main is there, but it's not the main idea. It's the main message about life. And that's what separates the whole thing, is that it's a main message about life that the author shares through the text, okay? And it's similar to a central message. So this falls into the category of folktales, nonfiction, not nonfiction, folktales, fairy tales, and many other fiction texts. What I meant to say with nonfiction is that nonfiction is not a place to look for a theme, generally, okay? Nonfiction tends to be main idea, whereas fiction texts can carry a theme, okay? Now, to find the theme, you often need to inference, all right? They won't come out and just say to you, this is the theme of this story. That's not the way the world works, okay? You guys should know that by now. And even sometimes with main idea, you guys had to make the inference. You had to take your key details and say, okay, what is my main idea here? And theme is kind of similar because you're going to be gathering some of that information and you're going to then give the theme, and then you should be able to support it by saying, this happened, that happened, and this is what the characters learned. And a lot of times theme comes through in the characters with what they have learned as well. But in Colonial Voices, we have kind of just like an overarching theme of the whole text. So we are looking at themes of Colonial Voices. Okay, and the first theme of Colonial Voices that we'll talk about is revolution. Revolution is a good place to start because this whole text and everything that we've been learning focuses on the American Revolution. Now, the American Revolution itself wouldn't be the theme, but the word revolution can be a theme. There's actually an old Beatles song talking about a revolution, yeah, you know, you don't want to change the world. So a revolution is a big change, has to do with a big change, okay? Going against an opposition in order to make a And I actually didn't plan on singing that. I just sang it because it popped in my head, but I'm glad I sang more of it than I wanted to because it really helped kind of get the idea out there. And so, obviously, revolution is a theme because the colonists are revolting, which is another way of saying revolution, or the form of revolution, revolting against the British. Because the British were in charge, and the colonists opposed them because they wanted to make a change. Okay? And then in doing that, and revolting, and causing a revolution, the colonists were in fact defiant. And defiance is another theme of this text. Okay, so defiance is basically not following rules or respecting authority. And we've seen that now for probably like 2 weeks, because we've gone from, the Boston Massacre, where the colonists are taunting the British soldiers, and it winds up with the British soldiers opening fire, and people lost their lives and all that stuff. But it also comes back with the Boston Tea Party, because the colonists didn't want that tax, the tea tax. Or I should say the colonists who were patriots did not want that tea tax. And the Sons of Liberty, who were out in front of the whole patriot movement, had no respect for the king anymore. They didn't want to listen to what King George had to say. He wasn't even here. So they felt the need to defy his rules and do what they wanted to do. And they sent the message with the Boston Tea Party. And now rebellion is the next theme. And rebellion really just kind of fits right in with the other two. It's just when you are going against what is normal, okay? And when someone's considered a rebel, people will say, "Oh, that guy's a rebel," because that person probably doesn't do what everyone else does, or what the normal expectations of life are, okay? And that's pretty much what happened here too, is that the colonists were supposed to be living this life of normalcy under British control, but eventually they got tired of it, and they decided to go against that normal. They said, "You know what, we don't like the way this is, we're not doing this anymore." And that's rebelling, okay? The fourth theme, this one's a little bit more meaty. Liberty. Liberty is, obviously we've seen the Sons of Liberty, and liberty is, standing up for oneself, but it's also about fighting, okay? Fighting for freedom, okay? Standing up for oneself and fighting against an authority. Now, when I say fighting, I don't necessarily mean like a battle, a war, shots fired, punches thrown, all that stuff. See, that probably picked you up. Bah. Bang, gotcha. Probably, I was gonna say probably picked you out. But liberty was standing up for yourself and going against the authority. And obviously, in this case, the authority was the British government and King George. And what did the colonists do, or most colonists, the patriotic colonists, went against that authority. And they stood up for themselves. They said, "You know what, we're not doing this anymore. We're not listening to your rules. We think your rules are dumb." And that's where we get Sons of. And And that's where we get Sons of Liberty. Then the last theme is freedom. Okay? Now, you guys are saying, why is freedom a theme here? We didn't talk about freedom. Nothing is free. The colonists are still ruled by the British from where we are right now. And even in the story, they didn't do anything to change their status. They just did something to go against the king. Well, the whole idea of being rebellious and being defiant and the Sons of Liberty and having a revolution was for freedom. The colonists used all four of these things to try to gain their freedom. When you are, freedom is able to do what you want with no control or consequence. Okay, and that goes back to the whole idea of the American Revolution in the first place. This is all happening because the colonists want their freedom from the British. They're tired of the British. They're tired of King George and the taxes and the laws and the rules and kind of just someone always being in their business. And they do all four of these themes in order to try to get their freedom. Okay? So, that is today's lesson. Your job today is going to be to write an opinion paragraph. A paragraph. 5, 6, 7 maybe sentences on which of these themes you think is the best. I want you to tell me why. You guys have read these texts. You should be understanding these texts. And tell me which one of these you think best fits Colonial Voices, or is the strongest theme that the author is trying to get across to us, okay? That's going to be your classwork. Your homework is going to be to review the introduction you wrote yesterday and the first proof paragraph you wrote last week. And I'm going to give you a handout to help you revise that will give you guys some sentence starters, some good ideas on how to start paragraphs, and this and that. Okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to help you get to a good point, because tomorrow you're going to be writing your second proof paragraph in your letter to the Sons of Liberty. I think seeing that sheet with the sentence starters is really going to be useful to you in terms of getting yourself into the character's perspective and writing a strong opinion piece for that character. Okay? So do your classwork, do your homework, and be ready at 1:30 because I'm coming at you guys with something today as well. So I'd like to see more than 8 people, and maybe I'll even have a special announcement today of some sort of contest for the week where I pick a winner and I mail that winner some prizes for whoever does the best job getting into the live 1:30 videos or whatever it might be. I still have to figure out the details, but there will be a special announcement today about the contest. So I'm bribing you. Be there. See ya.